The land between Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which is Iraq today, birthplace of civilization almost 10,000 years ago, has oldest record in astronomy. An ancient Egyptian historian is said to have written, Athothus, his son, for 57 years, built a palace at Memphis, and his anatomical works are extinct, for he was a physician. Located in southern England in 2500-2400 BC, the prehistoric monument of Stonehenge has long been studied for its possible connections with ancient astronomy. The site is aligned in the direction of the sunrise of the summer solstice and the sunset of the winter solstice. Recorded observations of eclipses since the 13th century, 900 solar and 600 lunar eclipses in 2,600 years. Was the first person to use the Little Dipper as a navigation aid. He was able to measure the height of a pyramid using the length of its shadow. He is said to have predicted a solar eclipse in 585 BC, but it is questionable if this was really possible for him to do. If he did predict it, no one knows how he did it. Ancient Greek mathematician and philosopher, who was one of the most influential men in all of history, believed that everything revolved around math. 1800 BC mainly didn't know how to make a calendar, calculated motions of the sun and moon, divided sky into zones. Aristotle, the great philosopher, proved the earth was a sphere. 310 to 230 BC, first to think the sun was in the center of the universe. Theory was considered far too radical when came to the conclusion 1,750 years before Copernicus. Was a Greek scientist who lived from 276 to 194 BC. He studied astronomy, geography, and math. He is famous for making the first good measurement of the size of the Earth. Greek astronomer who discovered the precession of the equinox. In the Mesoamerican culture, the practice of astronomy was extremely important. To the Maya of Mesoamerica, this ancient science reflected order in the universe of the gods placed in it. The Ptolemaic system is a mathematical model of the universe formulated by the Alexandrian astronomer. A lost tradition of astronomical learning. Muslims determine beginning and end of the month. Astronomer who identified the concept of the heliocentric solar system, in which the sun, rather than the earth, is the center of our solar system. Known for his accurate and comprehensive astronomical and planetary observations. He proved the crucial observations that proved the Copernican hypothesis and also laid the foundations for a correct understanding of how objects moved on the surface of the earth and its gravity. German astronomer who discovered 3 major laws of planetary motion. Formulated 3 laws of motion, which were derived from Johann Kepler's laws of planetary motion and his mathematical description of gravity. An English scientist who is best known for predicting the orbit of the comet that was later named after him. Developed the general theory of relativity, one of the 2 pillars of modern physics alongside quantum mechanics. He is mainly popular for his mass-energy equivalence formula E=mc². Discoveries of the electron and radioactivity at the end of the 19th century led to different models for the structure of the atom, or proposed a theory for the hydrogen atom based on quantum theory. The energy is transferred only in certain well-defined quantities. Introduced 2 new quantum numbers and formulated the so-called Pauli principle, stating that any 2 electrons in an atom cannot have identical sets of quantum numbers. Formulated a quantum mechanics based on so-called matrix. He proposed the uncertainty relation, giving limits to the precision with which the position and velocity of a particle can be simultaneously determined. He discovered that the universe is expanding, substantiated the existence of galaxies other than the Milky Way. Father of the Big Bang Theory, this idea first appeared in scientific form in 1931 in a paper by Lemaitre. This was a radical departure from scientific orthodoxy in the 1930s. Father of the atomic bomb for leading the Manhattan Project, the program that developed the first nuclear weapon during World War II. Remembered for his contribution to the theory of stellar nucleosynthesis and his often controversial stance on other cosmological and scientific matters, such as his rejection of the Big Bang Theory in favor of a steady-state universe, and the panspermia theory of the origin of life on Earth in the 1980s. They were testing a sensitive horn antenna which was designed for detecting low levels of microwave radiation. They discovered a low level of microwave background noise, like the low level of electrical noise, which might produce snow on the television screen. Armstrong became the first human to walk on the surface of the moon, thanks to Aldrin, who controlled and landed the lunar module Eagle, who was the second man to set foot on the moon.